So I love all women. White, black, brown, Puerto Rican, and Haitian. Oh man, but you want to know something about women? You guys are crazy. Straight up loco. Man, I got in an argument with the girl one time over nothing, right? We argued for so long that she continued it, going into the bathroom without me, continued arguing with me. So I'm like, yo, screw this, I'm out. I went to get something to eat. I came back, she was still arguing. Like, who are you talking to? She finally comes out of the bathroom and she looks at me, she's like, oh, baby, you got me food. I looked at her, I'm like, what am I, in the freaking Twilight Zone? We'll be right back with Jason Andors. Okay, welcome back, everybody. So tonight's guest is a stand-up comedian that is known around the world. You've seen him on BET, Showtime, HBO, Showtime at the Apollo, and the Dominicana's Got Talent.
This is a nice club to be performing at. Comedians don't always perform at nice clubs like this. Ever since I did the Apollo, Bad Boys of Comedy, I get booked to do a lot of thugged out rooms around the city. I did a show in Brooklyn recently in Flatbush. All right, at a club called the Chocolate Monkey. This is a real club, I didn't make this up. It ended up closing down because someone got shot, long story. Actually, short story, someone got shot, it closed down, it's over. The Chocolate Monkey is one club you do not want to be a white comedian in the neighborhood lost, looking for. I'm walking around totally lost. This black dude came up to me, he's like, yo, you looking for something? I said, yeah, Chocolate Monkey. Fuck did you call me? No, the club, ow, the club! There's a lot of pretty women here tonight, boy. This is a good-looking crowd. I'm single now, too. I feel bad. I cheated on my last girlfriend. You guys think that's bad karma? I agree. I definitely think it's bad karma. Like, I wonder what she did to deserve that. What horrible thing did she do to deserve me sleeping with 15 women behind her back? I had to break up with her. I couldn't be around that evilness that was making me do these horrible things. She was Latina. I love Latinas, boy. And Latinas love to argue in public, though. Right, that's embarrassing. I do comedy. This is one of the most brave things to do on the planet, but arguing in public, I can't handle. So you know what I would do to make it less embarrassing? I carry a movie script with me. So when she would start arguing, I'll pull the script out and act like we're rehearsing something. I remember the other night, she was like, motherfucker, where was you at? I called you till 4 a.m., where the fuck was you at? Where was you at? Shut the fuck up! Shut your goddamn mouth! Strangle her? Okay. For 2 minutes, who wrote this violent script? Knee to the face. Scene.
Please welcome to the show, Jason Andors.
I'm good, man. I'm good. Your face looks a little fuzzy. Is that because of my phone, how I'm seeing it?
It's probably your phone. My phone's pretty fine.
I look clear to you? All right.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So what's up,
man? Yeah, I'm good. How was your workout today, bro?
It was good, bro. It was an old man workout. I do bands now. I do the rubber bands in the door, you know? I walk up the stairs in my building. I take the elevator down because my knee's bad.
Yeah.
So I do the stairs up to the top floor, and then I take the elevator down. And this lady was freaking out because I get in the elevator like without my mask, you know, and I'm completely out of breath from working out. But she's looking at me like I'm just breathing because I have COVID or something. I'm like, no, I'm working out. I don't have COVID. I'm good. You know, I don't think I do.
Isn't it crazy how we're at the point where if you get like something in your nose or like a bug flies by or an allergy or anything, if you sneeze, like the whole world will turn around and be like, oh my God, oh my God, run, run. And Godzilla's like,
Yeah.
just throwing fire at you. It's like,
I don't know. I never liked sneezes. I was wearing a mask on the plane before masks were hip. I'm old school mask plane. You know what I mean? Like people have been running the mask, like thinking it's all like they're on the in. Like now, I was rocking masks the last 5 years because I perform on cruises a lot. So I would get cold sometimes. Like I fly like 5 flights to get to the ship, and then all of a sudden I'm sick on the ship and it's hard to perform. So I started wearing a mask and I never got a cold again.
Oh God. Yeah, it's just crazy what's going on right now. I literally just got my shot on Friday, my second shot, and the second one kind of hit me because some of the aftermaths that they tell you it's going to happen, it did with me. My arm got real sore, and I got mad chills. Like it was cold, and I had to stay in bed all weekend. And then today I woke up and I'm perfect. And I spoke to the doc, and the doc's like, no, those are actually the 2 most popular symptoms afterwards. Because
I had that too. I had the chills.
When you get a shot, right, like the flu, they're actually injecting you with the stuff so your body gets immune to it. Yeah. And it's just like, ooh, okay.
It's better than being in a ventilator, you know what I mean?
I 100% agree. I 100% agree, man. So, what?
No, I just said people are just, but it's just funny. Like people are way more scared of COVID than AIDS now. You know what I mean? Like AIDS was happy as hell when COVID came to town. You know what I mean?
Yes. Well, you know what it is? It's not that people are scared of it less. It's when it's not talked about anymore and it's in the past, people just don't think about it. You know, like, for example, and I'll use you as an example. You're right now a relevant comedian. I think everybody's relevant once you're into an industry and you're doing well, right? But let's say 10 years from now, let's just say, and I know it's not going to happen because you're incredibly talented, but let's say you weren't a talented comedian and you just fell off the face of the earth. Unfortunately, a new Jason Andors will come along, let's say.
Well, John Andors.
Okay, John Andors.
Yeah.
He becomes popular, and then people won't even think about the old John Andors because people are just so quick to forget. You know, if it's not being seen in the media 24/7 and being posted on social media, it becomes a thing in the past, and it goes into the books of history that most people don't read anymore because nobody reads anymore. I mean, it's the truth.
Fame is really quick sometimes. When I used to do BET Comic View, I did it like 4 years in a row. I get recognized. It's a black TV show, so most of the black people watched it. So when I go to like a black neighborhood, I get recognized consistently for like 4 to 8 years the most, you know. But then once they stop playing it, it's over. No recognitions, nothing. You have to either be on a TV show regularly or you got to be like in movies or social media. Social media is a permanent TV show. Your followers see your face every day. It's going to stick in their brain for a while. You know?
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, you know, you remind me of, you kind of have this cool, different comedic image of Stryker from X-Men, from Wolverine.
Interesting.
I don't know if you've never noticed that. Yeah, if you look it up, you're Stryker, dude, I'm telling you. But I do have to ask you something. You have a nickname called a Comedy Chameleon. Where did that come from, and who gave you that name?
Well, I don't really use that name a lot, but people have called me Comedy Chameleon because I've performed in front of every type of crowd. I mean, I've had different points in my life where I had different, you could almost call it niches, but it happened organically. Like when I started doing the black comedy circuit, it happened organically. I started doing the rooms. I did well. I got invited to do them over and over, and I felt comfortable there. Most of my friends were there, and it just happened. You know, I think it has a lot to do with the New York City upbringing, the public school upbringing. You know, like I was raised with all ethnicities in class, so I grew up to feel comfortable in front of everyone and not really look at anyone like they're different. Yeah, you got your little stereotypes, but I've always been honest on stage and never held back, and people feel the realness, I guess, and it's just work. So I've done, you know, from the black crowds to cruises to the mainstream comedy clubs to, you know, whatever, synagogues, firehouses, bars, you know, performed on the street. And then I do the Spanish. I do comedy in Spanish. So my character on my social media is all Spanish, mostly Spanish right now. I would say 85% of it. And that happened organically too, because I always loved the Latin culture. So, I've always dated Latinas since I was young. And then my cousin lives in Dominican Republic. So I visit, he's like, yo, Jason, if you like Latinas, you need to come visit me, because every girl's Latina where I live, So, before he could finish his sentence, I bought the flight. I went out and we hung out, and it was such a frustrating trip because I didn't speak any Spanish, because I grew up on the Upper West Side. So all the Latinas in my neighborhood spoke English. So I never needed to do homework. I'm like, why do I got to do homework to get asked? Like, they all speak English already. Like, I'm good, Right. And then I grow up, and then to find out that so many Latinos around the world just speak Spanish. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if my teacher was smart, he would have just like sat me down and be like, Jason, you want to grow up to be a pervert that flies 5 hours to a foreign country and you can't get any women because you don't know how to say cuánto cuesta? Huh? No. He's like, then do your homework. So I went out to visit him, and I met this girl I was in love with, but I only knew hola and adios. So nothing was working out. My cousin had to translate for me. He got her number for me. He called her for me, and he probably had sex with her for me too, because he's a good dude. Shout out to my cousin Ethan. He's a good dude. He probably slept with her for me too.
I think adios is the best word when a relationship's not doing well. Like, adios.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Take care.
In every language, they should use adios.
Exactly. And I'm glad that a lot more people are learning more languages. I'll be honest with you. I think every person in the world should know at least one more language. I'm at fault too. I mean, I grew up Italian. My mother spoke a little bit of Italian once in a while, but I was around Spanish and Italian a lot because I ran, restaurants in the restaurant industry for 25 years. So you would think me being around Spanish guys for 25 years, I would speak Spanish. No, the only thing I speak is all the bad words. I can understand a little, but it's bad. And that's my fault. I think everybody's learning, even right now, even some of you Spanish people that can't understand this right now. It's fine, because when we edit the video and everything, remember, there's closed caption. They can just switch it around to Spanish, and they'll be able to actually watch the video, which is great. And that's why stuff like that is popular.
Bro, I love the background, bro. It's
Thanks, man. Yeah, I put a lot of work into all this, and it was just hard to get the right color because I had to do research on shows, bro. Like, there's a reason why they put blue backgrounds in a lot of talk shows, because it brings out the colors and what you're wearing and everything else. So it's
okay.
A lot of stuff,
I have a boring white background on the back. I got the Dominican flag in the back. I don't know if you can see it on the left.
It's not boring, man. It's represent, son.
You know what I mean? That's
you know what I'm saying?
The shirt, bro. Santo Domingo, man.
Well, all right. I see you, man. Yeah. And I appreciate
Santo
you right
Domingo Pollo. That's chicken
Pollo?
instead of polo. Yeah.
Okay. Pollo.
Friends,
So,
and
no
they companies, shirt.
So a lot of the places that you perform around the world, was there a place, because every comedian has a bad spot, which is actually great because it teaches you how to cope when you hit a bad spot, meaning bad crowds, because I've done that, right? Yeah. I haven't done a lot of stand-up shows. I did a couple, not even a lot of people don't know about. And I realized when I hit a bad crowd, it wasn't that my jokes were bad. Maybe they were. But it helped me readjust on how to deal with certain crowds. Was there a crowd that you felt maybe was just having a bad day, but it helped you cope on moving forward? Because you're a very funny guy. So.
There's too many bad shows I can talk about. I mean, I've done at least 12,000 shows, I think. I was thinking about the other day. So there's a share. I got a share of shows that were solidly bad.
Yeah.
I was talking about one the other day. I don't know how edgy this show can be, but I was talking about one.
I got bleeps. It's cool.
Yeah, but I got one. We were talking about one the other day. I did the show. I used to do these shows at ski trips. They'd have like these ski resort weekends.
Mm-hmm.
And it was when I was doing the urban circuit, the black comedy circuit for years. And it would be all black crowd. So they they're not really going there to ski. They're going to hang out, whatever. And so I get there, and they decided to go skiing that trip, and they got stuck on the ski lifts. So they all didn't show up to the show. Instead, at the show, were just all these like white trash people hanging out at the bar, you know, that they didn't know a show was happening. It wasn't the crowd I was waiting for. There was like 60 feet between the stage, the bar, and the seats. I brought my friend from New York to come see me at the show, and he's only seen me do well in New York. He thought comedy was basically easy at this point. He's like, yeah, let's go hang out. You rock the show. We'll pick up some girls. We'll have a great time. You know, that's his plan, to go 3 hours with me up to Pennsylvania. Right. So I get there. No one's in the crowd. There's like 10 people here, maybe 10 people staying at the bar. We got to start the show, and I already signed, like, I got to do 45 minutes is in the contract. DJ brings me on the stage. He forgot my name. You know, he brings me on. And I start talking, and the mic's already not working. It's going in and out. And no one's laughing. And then there's one couple in the back. It's dude, it's like really like kind of fat, light-skinned black dude and his girlfriend in the back. So I think they were the only two that were supposed to be at the show. And he heckles before I got on the stage. He screams, "Yo, get the fuck off the stage," you know? And I'm like, yo, why don't I walk on stage? I'm like, why don't you let me get on the stage before you tell me to get off the stage, you know? Wait a little bit for the heckles. I didn't even get into the jokes yet. Like, give me a chance to not be funny. Crazy. You know? So we're going back and forth, and he keeps saying stuff. So now we're snapping on each other. I'm like, yo, what's your name? He's like, yo, my name's Billy D. I said, you look more like Heavy D, you fat, you know, whatever. So everyone's laughing, you know, and then it's working for a second. Then the mic cuts out on me while he's saying stuff, and no one can hear me. I'm screaming without the mic. So after about 7 minutes, the DJ's like, we got to take a break because the mic's not working. I got to try to fix it. So I'm completely bombing for 7 minutes. I got 38 more minutes to do, and I'm taking a break. So I got to go sit with my friend who's ashamed of me at this point. He's sitting there. He's like, yo, dude, I thought comedy was easy. Like, what the hell's going on here, man? He's like, I might go just chill in the room. Like, he didn't want to, like, have my back, you know? And so they're hanging out. I'm hanging out next to the people talking about how much I suck, like, over here, you know? And then he brings me back on. I got to do 38 more minutes of just bombing hard. You know, I just went down. Whatever. I bombed. I expected it. The crowd wasn't even there for me. It was no one there. There was like 20 people there spread out in a huge dance club, you know, with 60 feet in between. Yeah. So I go back to my room that night, and I'm just like pretty much in fetal position, shivering, like depressed, you know. And I get real hungry at like 3 a.m. So I go walk to the vending machine. And trying to dodge everyone out. And as I'm leaving the vending machine, I hear, yo, what's up, man? I'm like, oh, fuck. He's like, yo, the comedian. He's like, yo, you were amazing. I'm like, what? You talking to me? He's like, yeah, man, that was incredible. I said, what? He's like, yo, man, that was so incredible. How you stayed on stage for 45 minutes as much as you sucked, bro. He's like, yo, that was so impressive, man. And then his friends showed up. They're like, yo, tell them how much you sucked. They don't believe me. Tell them how much you sucked on stage tonight. I'm like, yo, I got to go back. I sucked. I was horrible. Yeah, it was bad. He's like, yo, you were so bad, but you had courage, man. You just say, yo, you should probably think about doing comedy, man. That's what he said. You should think about doing comedy. I've already been doing it for 15 years. You should think about doing comedy. It was horrible, but whatever. I got my check.
You got the best, worst, negative, positive comment ever.
Yeah. It's like, I still to this day won't really know if he was impressed with me or he just absolutely was making fun of me. I think he was literally impressed. Like, I think he thought that I wasn't a comedian, and he was impressed with this, regular person that just came on stage and did 45 minutes fearless in front of a crowd bombing. Like, that's brave for that postman that just decided to do comedy tonight. I don't know what he thought, but I've already done like probably 7,000 shows, that's my job. And he told me I should start doing comedy. Horrible. That's a bad example. That's a bad show.
No, that sounds like the guy who put out that tweet where he's like, hey, that white guy performing with Kanye West, he's going to be a superstar one day. And everybody's like, dude, that's Paul McCartney. Like, what are you talking about? That's probably the same guy who put out the text that told you after 7,000 shows, man, you should do comedy.
Yeah. Like, that guy's hired by someone to go around the country and ruin people's emotions.
You know why?
That hurt for a while. That hurt for a while. That show.
I think that guy came up to you trying to give you a compliment because it's like at the Dead Show, right? You're looking at him like, wait, you talking to me? Like, aren't you that same? Like, no, this is what happens at the Dead Show because when they run out of weed, they're like, man, this music sucks. So
Right.
when for you, they're like, wow, man, you were awesome, but you were horrible at the same time. Like, we're coming back, man. We're buying tickets this time.
Yeah,
We ain't
he
going to
realized
the
the next morning. He realized how horrible I was. You know. It's all good. There weren't really. That was a while ago, so everyone didn't have camera phones.
Yeah.
It was a good time to bomb. Now is not a good time to bomb.
No,
You know?
I mean
Now is definitely not a good time to bomb. I had a good heckler clip on YouTube at the Uptown Comedy Club at National Black Theater.
Yeah.
I actually took it down when all like the racial stuff was going on. I was just like, you know what? I don't need because I just took it down for a minute because it was getting intense in the world.
Yeah, that's
you know.
another thing too. Is like when you go to a comedy show. I know a lot of shows try to do it, but how do they regulate telling people please shut off your phones? And it's like can't
They
really
don't.
do that anymore.
No,
You know what I'm
they
saying?
only do
Like,
it if they're really famous.
Yeah, but even like Kevin Hart, who did the stadium, I seriously doubt they asked 50,000 fans to turn off their phones. You know,
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it because I heard last week Chappelle was at Foxwoods.
Yeah.
And those were 6 shows, 4,000 people in each show, sold out. And I heard, which was very cool, that they take when you come in with the cell phone, they give you a case to put over the cell phone with like a lock that they can undo, almost like those little tags on your clothing when you leave a store that will ring that they can only take off. And it shuts off your phone. Whatever's in that case, I don't know, you can't use your phone.
That's great.
And when you leave, they'll undo it for you. You know, so you don't even have to check your phone. I was always thinking, like, because I heard they don't allow phones, and I'm like, what do they check everybody's phone in a little lockbox or something? That sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah.
If they just give you a case, boom, you go in. Because these guys are taping new jokes. These guys are working, like, through their tour, they're working on their next TV special. Yeah, people can go around and talk about their jokes and stuff, but that's way different than actually seeing the joke on YouTube or something.
Exactly.
So,
and
but with us, people film us all the time. You know, there's nothing we can do. I'll film the audience sometimes. I pull my phone out. I'm like, you want to film? I'll film you too.
Oh, they love that. I mean, the audience, anytime there's engagement, the audience loves it. I mean, it's crazy. You want to know something that's a cool idea because I do miss the fact that you ever notice when you go to any show, 90% of people, I'm guilty for doing it too, are constantly on their phone every minute, right? And how can you actually enjoy a movie, a show, or really, really get everything if you're like this every 2 seconds? And on top of that, you're paying for somebody that you want to see perform, and they're standing in front of you trying to entertain you, where it becomes insulting because you can literally see the majority of your audience doing this every day. And you're like, you know what? How the heck am I supposed to become a great comedian if the majority of these people are going to hear a quarter of my jokes because they keep missing it, whether they're texting or phoning or not? And it's kind of an insult.
Kind of makes you a great comedian when you got to deal with all these interruptions. You know, if everything was easy, we wouldn't be as great. But it's annoying. It's definitely annoying. I mean, people. Yeah, you watch a movie when you're looking at your phone. When I'm at home watching TV and I keep looking at my phone, I'm like, I get lost. I don't enjoy the show as much. And when I try to write, when I'm trying to write during the day, I'm working on a book. So when I'm writing it, if I have my phone on, forget it. I can't concentrate, you know?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I agree with you on that. And
you turn off that phone for a good hour, all of a sudden your brain opens up. You become creative. When there's just nothing bothering you except your own, depressing emotions, you become real creative.
Dude, I agree with you because when I'm working, I actually put my phone off to the side. It's on just in case somebody calls and needs me. But when I'm on the computer working, phone is over there. I'll have the TV on as background music. But I agree with you 100%. Like, people really need to understand the phone is not a necessity per se. It is for certain things, but you don't need to have it 24/7. And if you read more, if you pay attention more, like, your intelligence will go much higher. If your face is in that phone 24/7, listen, man, you're not going to be able to cope through life. I'm telling people right now, you have to learn how to be creative, like you said, have to be patient, finding things to do, learning new things, just everything, because you'll become so much more interesting if you take the time to find out who you really are instead of being on the internet 24/7, trying to see how many people liked your TikTok post because you stuck your ass out in front of your camera dancing
Right.
to some Usher song or something. And that's the straight up truth.
I guess
I
you
mean,
saw my last video, yeah. So,
you said
yeah,
something though. You know, things are difficult. Now you grew up kind of in a difficult childhood. You're from New York like me,
yeah,
and you grew up in New York City, which
yeah.
when we were younger in our age, New York was it was a tough area. Um, so I think it's
I got a lot of bad things happen. I mean, I was raised, middle class family pretty much.
Mhm.
Depends what you call middle class. I had other friends that consider themselves middle class. They were rich to me,
Yeah.
but definitely working on middle class and good apartment because we have rent control. But New York is now the Upper West Side wasn't that nice when I was living there as a kid. The rent was like 220 for a 3-bedroom. Like how great was that neighborhood? If everyone wanted to live there, it wouldn't have been that price. Let's put
Awesome.
it that way. But it was a
Yeah.
great neighborhood to be raised in. You know what I mean? It's just set up my life. Being raised with every culture, it was definitely a melting pot of cultures.
Yeah.
And I met you through my friend Norman, aka Normski from Rocksteady Crew.
Mhm.
And so it started I went to public schools. I grew up with Norman since first grade. And he was never, he
I'm
did,
sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope he's watching right now. He's gonna be like, yo.
yeah, no, he's an interesting cat because he was always like the best athlete in school and everything. And then he did ballet. He
Yeah.
did ballet in elementary school. And that was a brave thing for like a thugged out kid from the projects to do ballet. He was
Mhm.
so confident with his hand skills fighting that he's like, I'll do ballet. What are you going to say about it? You know what I mean? His brothers had his back, everyone. So I remember watching him do talent show and do ballet. But then the summer before 6th grade, my parents sent me to a camp. And I don't think they know. They claim they didn't know it was an all black summer camp, But it was like the only other white kid there was my black friend Brian, right? So
Right.
so I'm at
Wait,
camp,
what?
and you just caught that now.
I
So
just got that.
yeah,
Thanks, John.
so yeah, so where I'm at camp, and I met this kid Ronnie, who's from the South Bronx, and he was in my bunk, and he was popping, and I never saw popping before. So this is the first time I saw popping. I was introduced from a kid from the South Bronx.
Yeah.
And he taught me like the wave, he taught me the heartbeat and the glide in those 2 weeks. And I remember this kid, like once I was learning some moves, there was this big kid at camp that caught me in the showers. It was like prison at camp. Like he caught me in the showers and he's like, yo, man, what's up? Let's battle. And I'm naked in the shower. I'm like, yo, let me get dressed first, man. He's like, no, let's battle right now. I'm like, I'm not going to battle you naked. You know what I mean? My penis was so small at that point, it's like there's no waves going on down there. So it's I left the camp, right? And after that summer, I realized Norman was like one of the better dancers in New York City. I'm like, when did you learn? Like over the summer? Like I don't even remember you doing this in 5th grade. And then he joined Rocksteady Crew, and then he did flash dance that year when we were in 6th grade together. Came to school with like his new green Pumas, I remember, with the thick laces. He always had like $300 on him. He's in 6th grade. He's dating like adults. He was dating adult women. I'm like, what the hell is going on here, man? I told you, right? He had that 19-year-old girl. Like I remember seeing him on the street when I was like 12. And I'm like, what's up, Norman? And he had like a 19-year-old girlfriend with a kid in a stroller. I'm like, this makes no sense. I swear. Dude, he was always dating adults. I'm like, what the hell, man?
Oh my God, I can't even imagine that, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's real. It's real.
He got 25-year-old guys like, yo, man, keep that kid away from my girl. They're like walking by like they're stepping to him like, what you want, man? Yo, let me tell you something. When you get out of detention, I'm going to be waiting out for you in elementary school. I'm telling you, I'm coming for you.
Yeah, his girlfriend's coming to pick him up after school in 6th grade, pick him up and another kid from our class, like her son. You know what I mean?
Yo, that's crazy.
He's a stepdad for a kid in his class. That's crazy, man.
That
was so Norman.
Yo,
Oh,
I
man.
can't wait till he sees it.
Yo, I remember once in 6th grade, one of the first fights I ever got in. I was standing there, right? I had my new Lees on, and I came to school. I had the Adidas with the thick laces, right? I made a mistake of wearing those to IS-44 because that was the most expensive sneaker on the market then. Those were $44.99, most expensive sneaker on the market. I rocked those to school, and everyone was staring at me like it was the dumbest thing I could have done. This one kid came up to me and put a sneaker right next to mine, and he was like, yo, what size sneakers you wear, right? I don't know if you remember that move. Yo, what size sneaker you wear? And our feet were the exact same size, and I wore a 6. But I lied. I was like, I wear a 2. And he looked down at our feet, and they were the exact same size. Like, oh, you lucky because I wear a 6. And he walked off, right? So then Norman had to walk me around school all day so no one robbed my sneakers. So the next day I come in, and I have my Lees on, and this big dude comes up to me, and he puts one of those little mustard packets you get at the diner.
Yeah.
You know? He puts that right by the floor near me. I'm like, what are you doing, man? And then he stomped on it, and the mustard perfectly went up all my Lees, right? This guy was twice my size, and I'm like, I got to say something because I feel like a bitch right now, you know? I'm like, yo, you got to clean that off, right? And he's like, no, I ain't cleaning that off. I'm like, nah, that's kind of the rules. Like, you got to clean that off. He's like, I'm not cleaning nothing off. I said, yo, clean it off. I put my hand in his face, and we just start. Well, I'm acting like we were fully punching each other, but we were full on slapping and scratching each other. There was no punches thrown. Like, I'm trying to remember the story like I was tough. You know, but it was none of this. It was straight this. But he got more scratches. He won. He got like 5 more scratches in that round than me. So I had like a huge scratch on my face. I remember this kid Alan went up to him and he was like, "Yo, man." He's like, "Yo, you better watch out, man, because Norman's gonna get you." Like everyone knew that if someone messed with me, Norman or his brother Scott would like beat him up for me, you know. So I'm like. I didn't say anything. I was like, yeah, I hope so, you know? And then we walk in the school, and Norman's there. Someone told him what happened, and he just does a flying kick, like, in the dude's face, and the dude falls. This is 6th grade, right? He probably was just, like, on the phone with his 33-year-old girlfriend, arguing with her or something. So he's probably already in a bad mood, you know, because he's fighting with his girl. And then he kicked the dude in the face. The dude fell in the corner. And he just, like, stomped this kid out. It was like a 6th grade beating, so it looked like a really violent fight. But I don't even know if the guy was bleeding or not. But he fully, won. And then the security guard comes over. And he's like, yo, Norman, chill. He's like, and the security guards respected Norman, his brother, that family, you know? They knew him from the neighborhood. Like, yo, Norman, what happened, man? What happened? And this is the excuse Norman came up with. This is the smartest thing. Like he's like, this is what works in those years in the 80s. He said, what happened? He said, yo, he stepped on my sneakers. And the security guard was like, oh, all right. Yo, just don't be stepping on people's sneakers again. Like he defended Norman. And then we just walked off.
And then music cues, and then you turn around, he's walking off slowly with 2 35-year-olds in each arm. Just like,
yeah.
He's got the Fly Guy song in the background.
Right.
And let me tell you something. I read something where at your bar mitzvah, you actually hired breakdancers where you battled them at your bar mitzvah. Is that true?
Right. Well, here's the truth of that. That's the joke format. The truth of that story is that I battled a crew at bar mitzvah at my friend's bar mitzvah in Long Island. We were breakdancing at my bar mitzvah. I have pictures of my brother and I, my friend Gab, my boy Peter. You know, my partner was a Jewish kid too, so we called ourselves a rare pair because we're 2 Jewish guys that could dance. You know, so at my bar mitzvah, yeah, we were breakdancing, but I battled a crew at this bar mitzvah in Long Island. They were hired from Long Beach, Long Island, to dance at the bar mitzvah, and They just came out joking with me, you know, and I just came out like bat, like fully better than the leader, and they kind of like laughed it off and kind of stopped the battle. Yeah, little kid, it's so funny, you know, because it was embarrassing for them. But then afterwards, the head of that company offered me a job breakdancing at bar mitzvahs for a living. And I remember thinking like, when I'm watching him dance at the bar mitzvah, I'm only 13 and they were like 30. And I'm like, 30 years old, 30 and breakdancing at bar mitzvahs for a living. Like, what a bunch of effing losers, you know? And then 20 years later, guess what I was doing on weekends for money? I was hired at an entertainment company, breakdancing at bar mitzvahs, and I ruined my knee on the third bar mitzvah. I did this move where you move your feet fully forward, and I went extra forward. My feet were opposite, and my knee popped out. And my knee's been bad ever since that bar mitzvah. I didn't work long enough. I didn't work long enough to get workman's comp. Huh?
So that was the accident that pretty much stopped you from dancing after that, correct? Because I believe you went to LaGuardia and then you made your way to Lincoln Center and you were looking to pursue a career in dancing, correct?
Yeah. Well, you said that so smooth. Like you really like rehearsed the biography I sent you today. You were like, yeah, sir, what happened was.
You get to know me, bro. I memorize everything.
You got to prepare,
I tell my
bro.
friends, don't ever, ever, ever tell me a story that you don't want me to remember, because I literally remember. I have a really photographic memory.
Let me say hi somewhere. Hola, Jeanette. Lo siento, sí, estamos hablando inglés. Lo siento.
Lo siento. Yeah, hola.
I said,
What's
I'm
her
sorry.
name?
We're speaking Spanish. Jeanette, she just wrote a lot of laughy faces. She doesn't understand English.
Oh, she doesn't? That's kind of funny.
But, yeah, wait, what were we saying before that?
No, I was just saying that, yeah, I mean, I always tell people, don't tell me something if you don't want to remember. You don't want me to remember it, because I have a really, really good memory. And that's why I think it's funny when people kind of make up lies. And it's like, listen, if you're going to make up a lie, and I'm not telling anybody to do that because, you know, it's just don't do it. But if you're going to do one, make sure it's a really good one, because the majority of the lies out there, if you're talking to an intelligent person, they're going to know right away that you're full of crap.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like even when you meet somebody, tell them the truth about who you are, what you do, who you are. Don't make yourself out bigger than what you are, because I always tell people it's easier to remember the truth than to remember the lie. Because if we lie to each other today, if you're smart, 2 days later, you're going to ask me the same question. Most of the time, I'm probably going to tell you a different answer.
Right. I mean, if you're going to lie well, you have to really live the lie. You have to remember that lie while you're saying it and make it a memory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like go home and write a sketch.
I've had to lie for like survival situations. I remember like once, New York City, you become like an actor, a natural actor growing up in New York City, getting out of situations.
Oh, yeah.
I remember once this guy sold me a fake camcorder. I wanted to get a camcorder. That's all I wanted. I had no money to get it, but that's all I was talking about. Right when camcorders were kind of coming out and affordable, it's like, God, I want a camcorder. It's in the 80s, you know? It's like, I want a camcorder so bad. I want to get the money somehow to get it. And that's all I thought about. And then all of a sudden this guy's walking the street. Yo, I got a camcorder, brand new, brand new. You know, and normally I would know this is probably nothing. I'm about to get robbed, right? This guy's not selling a camcorder. But the fact that that's all I wanted, I was like, let me at least ask about this. You know, he had the box wrapped in plastic with the camcorder picture. It was heavy, you know? And I'm like, how much? He's like, yeah, well, it's like a $1,500 camera, but I'll sell it for like $500. You know, I'm like, all right, it's still a price that makes it sound like maybe it's real. Like he did steal it, but it's $500, so it's probably, you know, I said, I don't have that. He said, what do you got? I'm like, I don't have near that. You know what I mean? He said, what do you got? You got 300. Give me 350. I'm like, I don't have the money, but maybe another time, you know? What do you got? I said, dude, I'm not going to insult you. I only have $60 on me. He's like, all right, give me $60, right? So I'm like, oh, God, he's taking 60? I said, it's probably not in there. But why not take a $60 gamble to see if I'm going to get a camcorder? Let me just do the $60 gamble. And I gave it to him. I went to the pizza shop. I opened it up, and it was just stacked hard newspapers. Like, you know, that's it. So I learned a lot about the news that week.
I think you did.
But then the point I was just going to tell you, the lie, I don't want to not finish the lie part because I know it would just be the most boring story ever.
Stop lying, man. Get it done. Let's do this.
The lie part, I see him like 6 months later walking down the street trying to sell camcorders again on the street. These people are buying it, right? So I follow him to 86th Street, and I'm looking for the cops, and I'm looking at him. I just want to arrest this guy so bad. And he starts walking the train. I'm like, I got to say something. I was like, yo. And he was a big, intimidating dude. He had crazy red crackhead eyes. Like his eyes were just so like he looks like he's such drunk. I was like, yo, what's up? He's like, yo, what's up, man? And he looked at me like he was ready to fight. And I'm like, I gotta say something correct now. And I was like, yo, man, you don't remember me? He's like, what do you mean? I said, dude, remember like, I don't know, 8 months ago, these dudes were trying to jump me and you jumped in and you saved the day. You came in and like pushed one dude off and you put your hands up and they were all scared of you and you just saved me, bro. You saved me. You know, I just said that because I knew in my head that he was going to accept my memory. Like he's going to think that I really remembered him and he was going to lie, you know? He's like, oh yeah, I remember when I helped you, bro. And I'm still looking for the cops because I want to arrest him. I'm trying to stall. He's like, yeah, yo, you think since I helped you that night, you could give me like $10 or something? I'm like, yeah, maybe. Yeah. I could go over here. I'm still looking for the cops. Let me see if I have the money. I'm like, damn, the cops are never going to come. I'm wasting my time. You know, and then all of a sudden I see the cops pull up at the red light and I'm like, I don't have the $10, but, and I just run away from him. He's like looking like, what the hell just happened? And I'm like, the cops, yo, that dude just robbed, blah, blah, blah. And the dude like tried to run the train station. They got out of the cop car, went down and arrested him. It was such a good moment. And the other guys got their money back for their camcorder. Anyway, I don't think he likes me too much. So what are you going to say?
Well, your career, I mean, like you said, you've done thousands upon thousands of shows. You've been on HBO, Showtime, you know, BET, Byron Allen's Comics Unleashed. And then you did something which is really cool. You also performed at Showtime at the Apollo, which is, I think every comic stream does to do once, because if you can really nail that crowd there, everybody knows it's one of the toughest crowds to perform, but if you can nail that crowd,
yeah,
you got something going on. How did you feel when you walked onto that stage, rubbed the stump, knowing that you're about to perform where every single legend that you can think of has been there?
I didn't rub the stump because I did the Showtime at the Apollo.
Oh, okay.
So I was a guest comedian that night. I never wanted to do the amateur night because I was like, if I fail, it's going to look really bad. And if I rock it, it's still amateur night. Like I was just waiting to be a guest on the show.
Right. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So what happened was I got booked. I had 3 months to dread doing that. 3 months to worry about bombing, to worry about maybe having a cold that night, to worry about having a big pimple on my forehead. I don't know. I just was worrying about stuff every day. I just wanted to do well in that. I was already doing like the Black Comedy Circuit for like 12 years. No. At that point, I was only doing it like 8, 9 years, but like all the time. And I'm like, I've performed in front of a couple 100,000 people. Like, and I'm like, if I bomb on this, they're going to air it. That's one TV comedy set they air. Whether you bomb or do well. You do some of these other TV comedy spots. If you bomb, they might add laugh tracks. On Comics Unleashed, they were adding laugh tracks to people that weren't getting laughs. They might not even air you. You know, if you do really bad, Apollo will love to air you getting booed off the stage. You know, they live for that.
Oh, yeah. They put it in the blooper reel.
Yeah, they love it. They used to do that on BET Comic View. If you bomb, they replay you all the time, you know? So I was dreading it. I was like, I really want to do this. I didn't have to do it, but I pushed the issue of getting on it. I felt like it would have been like my black belt in that circuit, you know? Like, I feel like, okay, I did the Apollo. You know, I could spread my wings a little more and mix it up to every type of crowd more because I was really immersed in that comedy circuit. And I don't regret one moment of it, but I wanted to spread my wings, you know.
Which is great.
Yeah, so I get there, and I wasn't one of those white comedians that did like the TV show, like the black comedy shows that dressed hip-hop, trying to win them over with the look. I wanted to dress real, like, preppy white boy on all my shows and surprise them with my personality and what I know. You know, so I just had like a Banana Republic outfit, like a brown. I thought it looked great, but then when I rewatch it, everyone tells me I look like a UPS worker, you know. But anyway, so I get to the Apollo, and I'm in the dressing room, and I remember this comedian Capone helped me get on that show. This manager, Jason Steinberg, submitted me, and then someone bombed. They submitted like a while ago. So they didn't want to maybe book me, and then Capone was like, nah, he'll do well. So he's backstage like, you better rip this, bro. You better rip this tonight because I put in a good word. I'm like, all right, enough with the stress, you know? So I brought these really old Puma sneakers with me backstage. I was wearing them around backstage. They were ripped, dirty sneakers, but comfortable. And I had my nice shoes in the dressing room. I was going to put them on like 10 minutes before the show. So I'm walking around, and they're like, get ready. You're going to be on in like 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I run back to the dressing room. and my shoes aren't there. I'm like, yo, get the fuck. My shoes aren't here. Where are my shoes? I need my shoes. I can't walk on the Apollo stage with ripped sneakers. I won't even get to joke number one. Like, people will make fun of me right off the bat. Like, look at your sneakers, you know? I'm like, where are my shoes? I'm walking all around backstage. Anyone see my shoes? I'm having a panic attack. I'm in the staircase. Fat Joe and the Terror Squad are there. All of them, wow. Right? Because they went on right before me. And I'm like, anyone see any shoes? Like, they're looking at me like a crazy person. And then someone walked by, looked like they had the same size feet as me. I'm like, yo, can I borrow your shoes just for my set? I just can't wear these.
And he's like, what? Sorry, dude, they're size 2. Sorry.
Yeah, right. They call that back. It's the same guy. That would be funny. So I'm running around, and this lady that worked there is like, what's the problem? Why are you panicking? I said, I have my shoes in the dressing. She's like, what do they look like? I'm like, they're in a bag, like in a Nietzsche plastic bag. Like, oh, the Nietzsche bag. Yeah, we found them. Like, where'd you find them? Like, we found them in your dressing room, and then we brought them downstairs. I'm like, you found them in my dressing room, and you brought them downstairs? Like, just leave my stuff in my room, you know? And then I got my shoes. I put them on, and they were like the magic shoes, bro. Like, once I had those shoes on, I wasn't worried anymore about them making fun of my sneakers. It was just about my jokes. And all the nerves during all those 3 months that were making me crazy disappeared because I was so freaking out over the shoes. And once I had my shoes, I was like, oh, now I just got to do comedy. Bring me up. You know, it was like needed to relax me, not finding my shoes. And I came on stage. I get into my first joke, and I heard someone heckling from the balcony, kind of like, yeah, like trying to say something before I even got to the punchline. But I'm used to doing like those type of rooms, like pack, you know, so I just talked a little louder. And then I got my laugh off the first joke. He shut up and everything. You won't hear it. I don't think you could hear him at all if you watch the TV set. And then my second joke rocked. And then I did the popping joke, battling at the bar mitzvah, because when I was a kid, I always wanted to do the Apollo breakdance, popping. You know, but I never did. And as an adult, I wanted to do comedy on the Apollo. So I was able to mix both in one show, knock out 2 birds with 1 stone on that show. And that was a great experience. I got a standing ovation, and Monique was like, you came and you brought this down, you know?
And that's the way you got to do it in comedy.
And it was just, it did nothing for my career, that show, but it did a lot for me mentally. It was like a big...
But it did do something for your career. Think about it. It did a lot for you mentally, which pushed you forward in other places. So, yeah, you can't say it didn't.
Probably so.
Of course it did. Now, I want to mention some stuff because we have a little time left, but I want to mention some stuff for your fan base as well. Like, I think it's kind of cool that you produced, co-wrote, and you were a voiceover for an animated pilot called Urbania. And you also co-wrote a pilot with King of the Hill and Simpsons producer Joe Boucher, which is really cool. But now, I know you're trying to possibly work on writing your own type of book, possibly on funny moments, which is really great, and then possibly your own documentary, which I think would be kind of cool. Now, being a Jewish kid who became a celebrity Dominican comedian, which is a really, really weird stepping stone, but you're doing it on top of being a pop locker, that brought you to Dominica's Got Talent. I say America because that's what everybody knows.
Right. It's the same company.
Everywhere. Right. I know you performed everywhere. But how different was it when now you're performing on a stage, which is being televised to millions and millions of people? How was that experience for you when you got there compared to everything else?
Honestly, I wasn't really that nervous because I wasn't supposed to be in the contest. I was in Dominican Republic filming skits and stuff, my social media. I was around when some tourists were dying at a resort a year ago. It was in the news, and the Dominican Republic was losing a lot of money with tourism at the moment. Yeah. Because it made DR sound like it's so dangerous. Meanwhile, it was like 8 people that died. There was no real proof they died from the minibar, you know? And 2,500,000 people went to the DR every year, and only 8 died. I mean, there were 25 other tourist countries that had more tourist deaths than DR, but they were all over the news. So they were chosen to be, take advantage of DR. So I wanted to defend DR because I love DR, and that's my second home, It's kind of my first home, really. So I did a video defending tourism and defending how safe Dominican Republic is compared to New York, and talking about all the stories, things that happened to me growing up in New York, from terrorist attacks to, getting jumped, gunned in my head, You know, a lot of weird crimes happen in New York that don't happen out there. So I put that video out and went completely viral. Everybody was sharing it everywhere. I had like 19,000 shares just from my page, you know, and it was going crazy. So everyone, you know, I got a lot of interviews because of that. And I didn't even plan for it to go viral. I just knew I had to put that video out because my followers depended on it, you know, and that's how I truly believed what I said. You know what I mean? Because I've never been mugged out there. It can be dangerous out there too. Don't get me wrong. You got to know the rules. You got to know, you know. A lot of people walk around in New York City at night because there's a lot of police. There's a lot of doormen. Everything's open. There's a lot of lights. You can walk around, but because people are always out, you're putting yourself in more danger too. In DR, you just know I don't walk around at night, take a cab somewhere, drive somewhere, go home, go to the bar. You know, so technically, if you know the rules, you know what to doing. It's safer there, in my opinion. So the producer, one of the producers of Dominicans Got Talent, wrote me on Instagram and said, you know, I was talking to a lot of the other producers. We want you on the show as a guest to be funny with the judges. So I said, I wrote him back. I said, can you call me? He called me right away. I'm like, he's like, can you come out to Dominican Republic and within a week? I said, I'm here already. He said, can you come in tomorrow? I said, bet, you know. Let's do it. He said, so we'll just write some skits or something, be funny with the judges. So I go in. They had nothing ready. I had a feeling that was going to happen because there's the first season of Dominicans Got Talent. So I had plan B was I'm just going to pretend I'm auditioning. I told him, I said, I'm just going to pretend I'm auditioning. I'm going to do all the interviews, film me signing up for the audition. I'm going to have an attitude backstage when people are like, yo, Tigre Bacana, why are you in this contest? People already know you. I'm just going to be like, because, you know, porque quiero ganar. I want to win. You know, that's why I'm here because I'm going to win. That's why. And I just had an attitude. It took me like 13, 14 hours. I had to hang out backstage before going on stage. So when I went on, they just brought me up. And my plan was, okay, no matter what, I'm going to pop. You know, that's going to be my talent. I don't want to do stand-up because I never did stand-up in Spanish at that point. And I do not want to bomb doing what I do. So I said, I'll just pop. That's a no-brainer. I'm not going to fail. There's no way I'm going to do bad. I might not do great. So I came on stage and in Spanish, you know, one of the biggest comedic actors there, real cool dude, Raymond Pozo, he was there. And he's like the most famous comedic actor there. The first thing I say in Spanish is, ¿Cómo te sientes ser el comediante número 2 en este país? How does it feel to be the second best comedian in Dominican Republic? You know, and he was like, he answered really well. Instead of getting insulted, you know, he was just like, well, it feels good. I don't have the pressure you have of being the best. I could sit back. I'm like, oh, thanks, man. I'm like, I'm a fan anyway. I think you're the best, whatever. They said, what's your talent? I said, tengo 7 novias y soy fiel con todas, which means I have 7 girlfriends, but I'm loyal to all of them, you know? And also, you know, people think because I'm real light-skinned, I'm white, I can't dance. I'm like, you want me to dance? What do you want me? Bachata, merengue? You want me to break dance? I knew they would say, yeah, let me see the break dancing, you know? So I'm like, all right, give me some music. Boom, hit it. Just did my thing. And the crowd gave me a standing ovation, the judges, and they all said, yes, I was really good, and gave me the reviews. And I walked off stage confused. I said to the producer, I said, what just happened? He said, what happened? You got passed to the second round. I'm like, I got passed to the second round? I said, I told you I hate contests. You know, I was just pretending. He's like, I know you were pretending, but I never warned you that I didn't tell the judges that you would be pretending. They knew you were coming. But I didn't tell them you were pretending to audition. They really thought you auditioned right now. Oh, so he's like, you could come to the second round, whatever you want to do. And I came to the second round. I lost. I did a poem, and I killed it. I did great. But they were smart. I don't know if they didn't put me in the semifinals because I didn't deserve it or because it would have just been a mistake, in my opinion.
It was probably because you were just there as a goof. If you knew if you were there, obviously, for the reasons to be there, it probably would have been different.
It would have been a disaster. I mean, like, imagine I win. And also, by the semifinals, the judges don't vote anymore. It's your followers. And I had more followers than the other contestants, so it's not fair. Imagine, like, a Jewish kid from New York wins the first season of Dominicans Got Talent. I mean, I even said in the interview, I was like, yo, if I win this, I'm giving every dime to charity. You know?
Yeah, of course.
I wasn't going to take $1.
People would be mad, but Jason, it's been such a pleasure talking to you. I could literally talk to you for hours because I know you have to be somewhere, and this interview just flew by fast. It's already, and there's so much to talk about, but I know I'm going to see you in the future and a lot of great things coming up. You've been a very hard worker, and you're funny as hell. And everybody should definitely go to check you out. Yeah, guys.
Respect to your
check
show,
them
man.
out.
Respect your hustle too. I see how you're editing
No,
videos every day. You're doing videos every day. It's a lot of work. I know how much work it is. I just spent 8
And it's
hours
a lot
editing
of
some
fun.
video the other day. But I'm an idiot editing. I mean, if you're good at editing, it'll take a quarter of the
Yeah,
time.
I love it. Hey, it's a lot of fun. I do. And guys, check this guy out, Jason Andors. He's on Instagram. You say your handle better than me. So what's your handle on Instagram?
It's El Tigre Bacano. You can find it, though, if you look up L, which is the in Spanish, E-L, and the first 3 letters are Tiger, T-I-G, together, no space, E-L-T-I-G, and I'll be like the second one probably with the black shirt. Not the fan page, the regular page, so just E-L-T-I-G. And para mi gente en República Dominicana escuchando este, voy para República Dominicana el domingo en la noche. So, 11 de julio, muy tarde, voy a estar allá. Hasta 16.
Yeah. What he said. That's what I was saying. What
I'm
he
going
said.
I'm going out there Sunday night until Friday.
Well, you have a great time. Jason, it's been a pleasure. I know I'll have it back with you soon. I'll have you back soon. I'm like,
See, Mabel, Mabelina, my friend, she put my page up there, at El Tigre Bacano.
which is great. Or just go to your website, jasonandors.com. That's the easiest way I tell people. When you go to somebody's website, just click on their Instagram from there. It's really easy to do. And other than that, we're going to see you soon, Jason. Thank you for being on FaceTime with Todd Wharton. You are a funny guy. You're a great guy, and I can't wait to have you back, bro.
All right, thanks, brother. Have a good one.
You got it. Have a good night, man.
So I want to thank Jason Andors for being such a great guest on FaceTime with Todd Wharton. Man, he is so funny. I can't wait to actually see him in a stand-up routine as more of the mandates for COVID are starting to get more uplifted, and hopefully comedy is going to come back stronger than ever. Now, guys, first of all, thank you to my live virtual audience, as always, for tuning in. Now, tune in tomorrow night as I will be interviewing Grammy Award-winning producer, Grandmaster DXT. Guys, have a great night. And if you're not living the passionate life, then whose life are you living? Take care. Hey guys, thanks for watching. And while you're here, you might as well subscribe to my YouTube channel. And for more information on the show, go to FaceTimeWithToddWharton.com.
What are you doing in there?
Ma, I'm shooting a promo. Why you always gotta ruin my flavor?